Okay, Scott, Rick, I see some folks starting to join us here. If you would just please, remain, calm. We're not going to get this thing started for a couple of minutes. We always wait the first couple of minutes to allow the stragglers to get on, or people who are having, trouble with, logging onto the webcast technology to get their technology in order. So just kind of hang tight, and we'll get started here typically within the first 2 or 3 minutes. So we should be starting by 3:02, 3:03 Eastern time. So just for those of you who are just joining us, again, just kind of hang tight while we wait for some of your other attendees to join us, and we'll get started in just a couple of brief minutes. We should be expecting a pretty good crowd today based on the registrations that we got. So, if you do have some questions, make sure that you, get them in early, because I'm assuming that we're going to have some good questions here at the end of this presentation. All right, again, we're just kind of waiting just a few minutes here to let some stragglers log in. If you just hang on tight, we'll be getting the presentation started momentarily. Okay, well, it is now 3:02 Eastern. I think we can get this started. As everybody knows, we do record these sessions and we post them up on our GoToWebinar channel at Terra. If you haven't utilized that resource yet, I encourage you to. You can find that, just go to our website, jointerra.org. If you look under our programs, you'll see, or excuse me, look under the tab that says webinars, you'll see where there's a link to the webinar for that month, and then our archive of webinars that you can go in there and watch. So we've now got a lot of these third Thursday sessions that have been recorded, and we do get a lot of people partaking of those after the fact. So we encourage you to come after this, share this presentation with your colleagues and friends. But we're going to get started. Again, this is Terra's third Thursday webinar, another part of our series. For those of you that have joined our sessions before, you kind of know how this goes. For those that have not, it's about 45 minutes. We try to get it, have this thing closed down by 3:45 Eastern time. So it's real brief and to the point, where we provide our host is going to give about 20 to 30 minutes of presentation, and then we open up some Q&A at the end. Everybody that is participating in the presentation from an attendee standpoint is on listen only mode. So the way to communicate with us is through either the chat feature or the questions feature, where you can open that up and send a message. I'll be moderating those questions. And again, as time permits, I'll interject, ask those questions at the end. Before we get started, I just have a couple of quick Terra announcements. And first, I want to welcome a couple of new members, S3 Recycling Solutions, Tex-Mex Recycling, and ITAD Solutions all joined us here this month. We met with all of them at the ITAD Summit, and we're very pleased to welcome them now as official Terra members in our Certified Recycler membership category. Another new member amongst our allies, which our host today is one of, a company called, I'm going to try to get my shirt up, Hyperion X. They are actually a Tennessee-based company, and they're in the field of mining for titanium, which is very unusual in this country. They were just part of a great event that we hosted in Paris, Tennessee, which is in the western part of our state, with Omega Recycling, where we did an electronic collection event for the residents of Paris. So it was a great opportunity, 3 Tennessee companies, but doing something good in a community that has been very underserved traditionally. They've never had an electronic waste collection event in that community, and that was the first. So kudos to Hyperion and the Omega team. And then lastly, I mentioned, some of the folks that we met as members now at ITAD. Just to let you know that myself, Tara is going to be at some upcoming conferences. We'll be at the eScrap conference next month, and we'll be at the eReuse conference in November. We do have a $50 discount for attendee to attend the eReuse conference. We're a partner of theirs for this year. So if anybody wants that promo code, please send me a message. But since we've only got a brief 45 minutes, I'm going to get started, and the clock is already starting, so we're going to get moving. First, I'd like to introduce our host, Pam with Chipsalz. And she's going to have some guests joining her today, which is, kind of unusual first for us on this Terra Third Thursday. We're breaking new ground, seems like every time. But Pam, she's one of our allied members. She joined us just a few months ago. Now she's our host. She's been in this industry for 30 years. That began in the roaring 90s when the things were kind of the wild, wild west out there. She's always been hungry to learn and quick to adapt to the demands that's focused in that she was quick to adapt to the demands and found success in the fast-paced IC broker world before being recruited by an OEM in 1994. Her systematic approach to problem solving, delegating, and strong communications produced new business in excess of $30 million per year. She excels in customer success by offering practical and innovative product solutions that focus on immediate ROI and sustainable value. The company she represents, Chipsalz, is a leader in ESD packaging solutions for best-in-class protection and presentation of your IT assets, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And they offer a wide selection from products for memory, CPU, hard drives, SSDs, optical, laptop, cell phones, and more. So with that, Pam, please take it away.
All right. Well, I just want to start by thanking everyone for listening, for your time. Time is something none of us have enough of, so I'm going to get right to it. I do have two guests today, and I want to thank them also. Jet Batista, Director of Operations at Axiom Upgrades, and Joe Savarese, Managing Partner at Critical Technology. They're going to be speaking in a few minutes to share what I feel like is an important perspective on how IT packaging has been strategic in their process. So I want you to hear not just from a supplier standpoint, but also from other users so that we can continue this dialogue that I'm hoping is not going to stop here. So I do want to clarify that I'm talking about packaging, but I'm not talking about general packaging. Chipsalz is, we specialize in packaging solutions for IT assets. So I'm not here to compete with Uline or your local box supplier. Those are suppliers that complement what we do. What I'm hoping is to trigger a larger discussion about the value in how you source the materials, the suppliers that you work with, and how packaging can be adding value, not just for how you're shipping, but how you're storing and how you're storing, how you're shipping, how you're packaging, just all together. So I wanted just to start, as someone who's been around for a while, this industry has just had astounding growth. When I look back 30 years ago, it's unbelievable of where things have gone, how far we've come. But while growth is the goal, we've all seen that there have been companies that struggle to meet the demands of that growth. And so over the years, I've met with countless companies that were self-described scrap companies. And then only months later, I'd be getting an asset list from them. And then later on, they were seeking R2 certification. The dynamics are amazing. And it's so important that packaging does not get left behind in that conversation, because you have to sell to the customer that you want. And your products need to serve that market, and you need to know what that is. So assessing asset value is short-sighted if you're not considering the costs that are associated with handling, excessive shipping costs, and inefficient packaging materials. So long intro here, but let me get right to it. So see if I can't get sorry here. Okay, so just talking about what qualifies Chipsalz. And I'm going to get my notes here so I do not get off topic here because excuse me. Okay, so by sharing this information with you, I just want to establish Chipsalz has decades of successful experience. We are not new to the electronics market. We understand the needs of the electronics market because we are a memory company. We've established a vast network of relationships in every corner of the market, and we utilize this network in our packaging business for their expertise on styles of packaging that we should be stocking, design improvements that they'd like to see, and quality of materials. This is not something that we do in a vacuum. We very much want the input from our customers, and I'd like to think that we are responding to that. Today, Chipsalz, IT packaging, we ship to ITADs, e-scrap companies, IT resellers, data centers, decommissioned sites, school districts, and Fortune 500 companies. We are a business that is built on referrals, and we are tremendously, I mean tremendously grateful to our customers that trust Chipsalz with their customers and with their vendors. Our product line today is a combination of industry standard solutions and Chipsalz exclusive designs, which are manufactured around the world. So let's talk for a minute about what's inside your box. I know these old adages are, I don't know, sometimes a point of frustration, but there is a lot of truth. Perception is reality. And I think, and then the 5 most dangerous words in business, we've always done it this way. Not considering how you're doing it and how things can be improved is so many areas where unrealized profits are happening. Packaging is an extension of your brand. First impressions matter, and they can be costly. So just on that note, I just had a note. I was thinking about the fact that we're all consumers. We are all consumers. And speaking for myself, I can tell you that I've been on the slow train to accept refurbished or replacement in place of new. Packaging tells me a lot about your attention to quality. To be blunt, if you're only dealing in wholesale e-scrap, then this is probably, and you're sorting through that scrap and you're refurbishing for reuse, your customer is going to put a lot of weight on the way you ship your product. But if e-scrap and wholesale is, you're only dealing in that market, then packaging may not be something that you want to be concerned about. And we completely understand that not all companies are created alike. And so what we try to do is make sure that we understand what your business is and make sure that we have the type of products that are going to add value. And if they're not, then we walk away. IT assets are undervalued outside proper product packaging. And it's true anytime you are remarketing assets. Your packaging is either costing you money or making money. And I can't even, that is something that I've learned from working with our customers. Is your packaging process consistent? Is it quality control through minimal handling and protection from damage during shipping? When you have boxes that are showing up and the box is completely broken down, that's gonna, I mean, of course, I mean, it goes without saying, it brings into question what's inside the box. This is a big one for us. Is your customer cutting through layers of unnecessary plastic, tape, and bubble wrap? That is such a major issue in terms of the fact that you are overhandling the product. It's going into a box that probably is got way too much packaging in it, but on the other end of it, the very first thing that the customer has to get when they pull out your product is a knife. And all of a sudden they're slicing through, and we've had to do it. It's extremely costly, and at the end, when that package is opened, again, there's a question of the quality of what, has damage been caused inside just because of the fact that somebody has had to cut through so much extra packaging. You'd be surprised at how many referrals we've gotten from customers that not only call out the company and the contact, but they send me photos and a note. I told them they need to buy your packaging before I'll buy from them again. That happens. We've gotten a lot of customers that way. And it is something that you need to be thinking about, not just how easy it is to get it outside your door, but what is the presentation when it arrives at the company that is buying your product. So this is going to be a good segue for me. I love to show this picture. I'm going to be introducing Jet Batista from Axiom Upgrades, and this is just a great representation. These are products that Jet was kind enough to send to me. This is packaging that we sell to Axiom. I think that the point that I want to make with this before I hand it off to Jet is, what I love about this is you don't even have to touch it. On both sides of this, the customer can immediately see what is inside this. It doesn't have to be handled. If it's going to the shelf, whatever is going on with whatever, if it's going to an end user or if it's going to someone else who's going to be reselling, whatever the situation is, if it's going to a data center, it can stay in its package. You know what's there. It just makes it all around easier for it not to be handled, to be perfectly honest. So with that, I wanted to, since this is Axiom product, I think this is a good time to be able to hand it over to Jet and have him give you some feedback on how packaging has been working in their process.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Hold on 1 second here. Okay. Hi, I'm Jet Bautista with Axiom. Thank you for introduction, Pam. Axiom, we supply OEM alternative solutions to businesses and data centers worldwide. So our biggest challenge has always been to not just be comparable, but to surpass OEM standards. Basically to make it, to ensure that it's a no-brainer for customers to turn and use Axiom products. A huge part of this is packaging. From computer memory, SSDs, hard drives, optical transceivers like you see in these pictures here. There's just a lot of variations and options. And through it all, we have to always try to meet OEM criterias. Not sure how everyone else feels about, packaging, but to me, it's not really a sexy topic. Not even to our marketing team. And so this is where it's been such a great partnership with Pam and Chipsalz. From the moment me and Pam first met, I knew that she was far more interested and knowledgeable in packaging than anybody in my company. And so when we met, she came in, researched our product line, spent R&D hours and money developing custom packaging for us. Factored in run rates. I mean, she came in, flew in, checked out our warehouse, saw how much space we had. By the time she gave us our options, Pam made it a no-brainer for us to turn to Chipsalz and turn to their packaging solutions. It's been years since we've been partners, and during this time, I feel like Axiom has been very much ahead of the game when it comes to packaging supplies, cost, and design. I feel like some people have actually ripped off our design, including our the transceiver window that we put on there, Pam. You've taken care of everything for us, from run rates to lead times. And I mean, the fact that we don't even have to worry about stock, right? Because again, this is something that we don't ever want to think about. And the fact that we know we can turn to you to keep us supplied, keep us, to your point, the supplies that we get from you are top notch. These aren't cheap materials. These last. They make it through shipping and handling, and by the time our customers grab it, it still looks like the way we intended it to when we packaged it. A big example of this is during the COVID times when everyone else was running out of supplies, and I could tell you throughout all of it, we were very well stocked and well positioned to keep supplying our customers. So, little kudos to you on that one right there, Pam. Before we partnered with you, I personally actually tried to take on ordering, packaging supplies myself directly from overseas, and I could tell you firsthand, it is not worth it. Language barriers, time zone differences, ridiculous MOQs, shipping costs, because now you got to do LTL containers and blah 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 blah. Once you get through all of that, there is no savings, and so that was a big factor in turning our business your way. Was the fact that you took care of everything from top to bottom, and truly what we could focus on is, the cool stuff, which is like colors, right? Like wanting to have, sleeves and logos, things like that. Those are cool. MOQs and lead times, I don't care for so much. And so like I said, sum it all up. Wish I could tell you how exciting and interesting this topic is. For me, I'm just glad that I'm partnered with a team that feels very, very strongly about it. And so for Axiom, we always want packaging that keep our products secure, looks good. We're never running out of, all at a reasonable price. And you capture all that. That's something that Pam and Chipsalz has brought to Axiom. So thank you guys for your time.
Thanks, Jet. That was I appreciate all the kudos there. Well, it really is we have to be partners. I mean, you've got to be able to go in and do the work, know the customer that you're selling to. So I'd like to just kind of introducing this phrase to you, a nickel holding up a dollar. I can't take credit for this. This is actually our owner, Scott Levin. This is his motto. I mean, and this is what basically was brought him in, inspired him into the packaging business. But it really is true, is that the packaging itself is the value of what you're getting over what you're spending is really what we're trying to make sure that is expressed here, is that IT packaging should add value, not just, again, as a tool for shipping, but it can add value in inventory control and storage as well. We ship to companies that don't even use our packaging for shipping. It's a tool for inventory control and a method for storage, whether it's safely transporting project from a decommissioned site or staging components to be reused in systems. They need to know that the product is staying safe, it's protected, ESD protected, they can keep track of the inventory. So it just, and these are such amazing examples of different ways that it can be utilized where it can be actually saving you money in your business. Packaging needs to be consistent. If you're going to have a process, if it's going to be sustainable, if it's going to be repeatable, you can't have tray sizes changing or the design of the tray changing. You can't have the quality changing. That happens a lot. We hear that a lot from customers that are buying from different suppliers, always going after the cheapest price, not knowing whether they're going to be getting used trays or going to be getting a thinner material. There just needs to be consistency. This should be something that you're not having to spend a lot of time thinking about. We want you guys to be minimizing handling in both shipping and receiving. I can't stress that enough, that is such a major issue. Is your packaging causing headaches on your customer side? And has that something that has even been asked? Have you lost business because the way that you're shipping? And there's a picture up here that you can see with the big red X on it. I didn't pull that off the internet. That was product that showed up to Chipsalz, and I can tell you that was the last business that supplier got. That was supposed to be grade A memory modules that we were buying. That's the way that it showed up. That doesn't happen twice. We had to question every single module in there was now a question in terms of its quality. We want packaging to demonstrate protection integrity. That means not just when you're packaging it, but to the point that it's showing up at the customer. It needs to show up without, obviously, unless UPS has dropped the box, which we are all assuming that that's not happening. But from the standpoint of it shouldn't get crushed under weight. The insides of the box, if there are partitions that are supposed to be protecting hard drives, the partitions need to hold up. It needs to be quality material that's going to hold up, not just to the point where the box is open, but even to the point where it can be put right onto the shelf. The other part is just to eliminate needless waste. In this industry, there is such a focus on trying to get away from needless waste, and yet we continue to see boxes, that are too big with too much peanuts or too much bubble wrap that's trying to make up for space. We need to get things down to where the product is the most protected with the least amount of space, because you want to maximize that shipping cost. That's another major area where there's so much waste. And I can tell you, as somebody who spends a lot of time on shipping out product, I probably spend about 50% of my time just working with my customers to maximize shipping costs. So it's an issue for us. We know it's an issue for our customers. It shouldn't be something that's ignored, and working with trays, working with proper IT packaging is a way to do that. The last point is just that we really want to encourage the discussion that packaging is strategic. It doesn't mean it has to be time consuming. Strategic means aligning yourself with the right suppliers so that they're doing the work for you. They're earning the business. They're making sure that you're never running out of product. That's really that's what we are trying to encourage. That's the discussion that we're hoping that you'll have even after this presentation. So another picture, I'm going to be introducing Joe after this picture. Kind of to Jet's point, these are things I love being able to see this progression here. These are CPU trays. Obviously, CPUs are some of the most expensive products that are being shipped. I love the progression of this, where this is actually inside the safe of one of our customers, where the CPU trays are being used for inventory and for storage, and you can take them right from the shelf. They go without even having to retray. You can actually put them get them right to the staging area. This particular customer does it the right way. No tape going over these plastic trays. It's not creating a mess for when the customer gets it. They have a clean line of bubble wrap that's going over the top. All the tape, anything that's securing it is going over the bubble wrap. And in the end, you've got a really good, tight, clean set of CPUs that can go into a box and be shipped out. The customer gets it. Any cutting that's done is not near the CPU. It's all done on the bubble wrap, and the trays are clean. So these seem like, I know this must in some ways seem, maybe for some of you, it just goes without saying, but for a lot of you, if we were to have a different arena for having a discussion about this, the way that some of these products are showing up, we've got to do better. We have to do better. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Joe at Critical Technology.
Right, I think we got it working first shot this time.
All good.
Thanks for having me, Pam. I'm happy to hear you say that the CPU packaging here looks exactly like how you think it should, because it looks a lot like our parts cage. When I started this company and we were kind of getting off the ground with, especially as it related to packaging and managing some of our products, it was a little bit of a mystery. I mean, I've seen how other companies had done it before. I haven't seen a lot of companies really do it well in general, and the ones that did, it was still a little bit of a mystery. Working with Pam and some of our other packaging providers has really made a huge difference in our operation, both from saving costs to keeping our inventory organized, making sure that items don't get damaged in the warehouse when they're being moved around, making sure CPUs don't fall on the floor, that sort of thing. Even counting the individual products that we have. You'd be surprised how much easier it is if you're not using these processes to count memory and CPU when you're auditing after dismantling devices. Having good, consistent packaging really helps a lot with that. And then when it comes to picking orders and fulfilling orders of customers, when it's already packed and it's something that can go straight into a box, and when you have boxes that are designed to accommodate this packaging, it really makes everything a breeze, and it makes your operations a lot more efficient. I definitely want to echo what Pam was saying before about, although I have a little bit of a different take, I found that in general, especially from talking with other partners in the industry, a lot of companies don't give feedback to their vendors when the packaging is bad. They just kind of write them off. Kind of similar to what Pam was saying about the memory module showing up. I think it's nice and generous of you to say that this is bad and we're not going to work with you until you do better. But a lot of companies will either start discounting their offers or just not responding to your projects based off of what I hear other people are doing. We're definitely on the more generous side in that the recyclers, and I've had companies that we buy from, typically if the packaging shows up in a manner that's substandard, we kind of help coach them. We haven't had any great situations to refer business to Pam yet, but I absolutely would. In a little bit of contrast to Axiom, Pam definitely gives us all of the support that we need, as if we were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a year with her. It's really working with Pam has helped us optimize our box sizes and really make sure that the quality of packaging that we're using is, I guess I would like it to be industry standard, but really I guess it's, top tier at the moment. One of the things that I found that was really useful for us, working in conjunction with Pam, but also our box supplier, was how important it is to have boxes that are right sized for the packaging that you're using. A lot of people don't think about it, but the void fill products like on-demand air, like inflated air products, two-part foam, and even bubble wrap and those sorts of products are they either take up a lot of space or they're really expensive. But what you don't think about is after you pack 1,000 boxes, the extra expense that you had for just having boxes that were a little bit too big is pretty monumental, especially with on-demand products that save space in the warehouse. In addition, when you're using a lot of void fill, sometimes that stuff can pop or shift in the box, and then you leave your product open to being damaged and causing RMAs, which I think is another thing where people drop the ball, that RMAs are really vastly expensive issues. By the time you think about lost product in the first place that you have to replace, 2 legs of shipping, and usually at least one of them is expedited if you have good level of customer service. And then all the time that it takes, at our company with an operation, or when there's an RMA, it usually involves at least 3 or 4 people that have to spend a substantial amount of time fixing the issue. When you add it up, I mean, it could be 3 or 4 times what the value of that product was that you lose in just like a simple stumble. And you can't erase all of that because sometimes, the FedEx guy just throws the box and it gets destroyed, and there's not much you can do. But at least I think that most companies could probably get their shipping related damage decreased by 80% by using better packaging. Let's see, I think I've hit all the major points. I don't think I have anything else, but I definitely, if anyone's not working with Pam, they're, really just great people to work with in general. She's helped us with guidance on, if they're ever running low on stock, or if something's going to take a while, they give us guidance on, maybe you want to stock up on this, or like, we've got plenty of this, you don't need to buy it right now, I know we're going to have plenty. And also helping us figure out optimizing our shipping expense to get the product into our warehouse, in addition with our run rate, so that we can maximize pallet sizes and our overall additional expense in related to bringing the packaging in. And I also want to echo what Jet said about trying to source packaging overseas. Before I started working with Pam, and before I was even really aware that they were selling packaging, I was buying, trying to buy packaging from China and Taiwan. It's just such a pain, just like what Jet said, and it really ends up being quite a bit more expensive than it seems like it is on its face. And I'm just happy that we have Pam and her team to work with on this sort of packaging, because it makes it quite a bit easier. I think that's all I've got for now, but thanks for your time, and thanks for including me, Pam.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Well, I am gonna kind of begin to bring this to a close here, but and I do have a couple more slides I'm gonna go, but I will run through them pretty quick. So again, just thinking outside the box. I mean, again, I said it in the beginning, I really want just to encourage a strategic discussion. I won't go through, all of the different things that you could talk about, because I've only listed 4 here, and there's probably a lot more. One of the other things in terms of thinking outside the box, though, is just consider when you're looking at packaging, don't buy as needed. It's not helping you. All you're doing is putting money in the pocket of the shippers. We really, really encourage 3 to 6 months of common IT packaging. That really, it's a good investment, especially for those products that you're going to be using. And it minimizes the cost of the resources just spent in placing those orders. And I know Joe kind of just touched on that, just in terms of how many people even have to be involved. It really is there's money being lost there just from the number of people having to be involved in the decision when it's something that that you're using commonly. The other, just lastly, is consider utilizing trays. And if you're a company that's going to be involved in decommissions, we are more than happy to drop ship directly to your decommission site, so that product can be put into trays or into partition kits immediately and show up to you already, ready to be counted, ready to be dealt with, and however it's going to be, in whatever way you're going to be working with it. I threw this out there just because I wanted to show how Chipsalz is thinking outside the box. This is our laptop partition kit, and I'm just going to touch on this quickly, and I hope that you will email me if you have any questions about it. This is a very unique laptop partition kit because you can use it for parcel or immediately for pallet. So it can be configured for both. It's got multiple uses for 15-inch, 17-inch laptop or Chromebook. And the reason that I'm showing you this is because this is the way we think. We think universally. We think in ways that we want our customers to not have to have so many different types of products, that it has multiple uses. It can go from parcel to pallet so easily. I'm going to leave it there. I know that if it's something you're interested in, you'll email me. We keep these in stock, does not have a lead time. So I'm just going to move on and just make sure that, just give you some points. I mean, obviously, I think your packaging supplier should be Chipsalz. But when you're looking at your packaging suppliers, especially when it comes to IT packaging, your packaging supplier should be responding to you same day. I get so many people that are like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for responding so quickly. And I'm thinking, are you kidding? I mean, this really is not difficult. You should be responding same day. If you're working with Chipsalz, you are probably getting responded to within the hour. We quote stock. You should be getting quoted stock. There should be no reason why you should be dealing with lead times. That is a major hassle for the business that you're in, especially for a business that's so difficult to forecast. The last thing you need is to be calling up and hearing that you can't get a shipment for 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks. We should be earning your business in the same way anybody should be earning your business. Packaging is no different. Not all ITADs or not all of you are created equal. And somebody should be getting to know you and knowing your business and not offering you product that's wasting your time. Offering you flexible shipping options. I'm kind of touched on this in different ways. We work so hard to not make the shipping companies more money. It does sometimes take an extra email or two to make sure that we're maxing out those pallets, or at least giving you all of your options, but it is something that we are very consistent about. And then just demonstrating consistency in our product quality, the delivery, and service. I mean, again, I just want to go back to packaging should be strategic. It should not be difficult. This is a no drama product here. You have enough going on with the market changing and all of the other assets you're dealing with. I just want to make sure that when it comes time for you to ship a product, you have the packaging there. So your packaging supplier should not be eBay. I really don't think that needs a lot of, I mean, unless paying 500% markup is something that you want to be doing, there's no reason for it. So, we would love to earn your business, and I would love the opportunity to talk with you more about how we can do that. And finally, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because you can all go to our website to see the different products that we carry, but we're serious about packaging. This isn't something we're dabbling in. We keep stock, and we cover a lot of different product lines. So please feel free to call me if you have any questions or want to see samples. And then the last thing is I want to make sure that you can reach all of us. I'm so grateful to Jet and to Joe. I want to make sure you have their websites, as well as know how to contact them, and that you've got my contact information. That is my cell phone number on there. So if you need to reach me, you do not have to go through a lot of trouble to do it. And I just, again, want to thank everybody for their time, for listening. And yeah, I'll hand it back over to you, Steve.
Well, thank you, Pam. We've already got one person knocking on your door. I'll give you the contact information, but Mike Schuler is asking for some information about your laptop packaging.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I mean, I got to tell you, when we first met and we first talked about you guys joining, I was really excited. I mean, unboxing and packaging, it's kind of funny that it's come up several times. This isn't very sexy material. But it, to me, as a person that's built brands and worked with advertising agencies and built companies and positioned them properly in the marketplace, this is singing my song, because perception is reality here. I mean, the words that came out during all your remarks, perception, consistency, add value, quality. Those are the things that you want to infuse into your own brand. We see companies, all the time working to build their brands. One of our members just in the last week and a half just completely changed their Georgia Computer, completely changed their logo and their branding. Everyone's trying to always do a little bit better. We're adding ESG reports to what we're sending out to our customers. Kind of positioning yourself as an expert is looking the part, and helping people do that, I think is a very cost-effective way to be able to demonstrate the position in the marketplace that you want to take. So kudos to you guys for for thinking outside the box and putting some of these things together that will help our members look good and demonstrate that the value that they actually bring to this market, because it's still undervalued. I think that's why people join Terra in the first place. They're coming together as a collective to say, we believe certification matters. We want to get out to the marketplace and sing that song and evangelize that message. and we're willing to work together to do that. You want to elevate the industry, you want to elevate your brand, elevate your packaging, show people who you are by demonstrating that you guys are professionals. So I thank you for being here. I did have a couple questions though. One thing that perked my mind, I know people always thinking about money first, was the idea of spending money unnecessarily. Joe mentioned it with buying the wrong size boxes. Do you have some kind of metric that you can think of that what proper packaging could save in terms of emissions and errors and mistakes and spending too much?
That's a great question. I think it differs company to company. I think I can speak more from what we see personally in our own business. I don't have numbers to share, but I can tell you that Chipsalz RMA rate is almost zero. So, I think to Joe's point, which I didn't spend a lot of time on with regard to, RMAs, and, I like to joke, I didn't share it, but, this industry is only one generation away, and I said it to you once, it's only about a generation away from standing on the porch of Sanford and Son.
Right.
We have come so far in terms of being able to present refurbished products to the world. Everywhere you go, if it's a book, if it's a computer, it's everywhere. Refurbished is out there. But getting people to trust what it is that they're buying is not they still want it to look new. I'm sorry, they really do. They still want to be able to, they still are looking at how it comes and then deciding whether or not it can be trusted. So it's so important that perception, we have that ability, and what we're talking about, the way that we quantified that, for instance, with memory, the difference between that pile that I showed you in the pink bags, for them to put that in a tray would cost 3 cents a module. 3 cents. So it's crazy the amount of money that we are leaving on the table because we're not willing to spend that extra couple of cents to just put into proper packaging. So there are metrics like that, even on a hard drive level, where we can tell you, if you were to put this into a 20 count 3.5 for 3.5-inch drives, we can tell you what the drive cost per drive would be to make that decision. But we really do need to get that. The way to do it is to get the dialogue going. We just need to be using these types of opportunities to be able to have these conversations, because 30 years ago, no one was doing this. No one was sharing information.
And it's like, it's just kind of that, it's that perception. It's like would you rather go to a lot to buy a car that was certified pre-owned, or you want to go used?
Yeah.
The way you position your material is going to determine what you're going to get paid for it and how people are going to value you. So no, this is a great topic. Thank you so much for bringing it to our members.
Thank you.
To everybody, we'll be sending out a link to this. It'll be up on our webinar channel very soon. Within like the hour. So we'll send out an email to everybody that attended and then could not attend. And remember, if you found it valuable, share it with your friends, share it with other people within your company, because this is going to be on our channel, so you can watch it anytime. We do find that a lot of our members will come back and watch these things because they are quick and brief and easy to digest. So they're good value to people. So thank you, Pam, for participating this month. And I'll also include in that message that we send out to everybody, make sure that Jet and Joe's contact information is there as well, because I'm sure they're going to be coming and being added to our membership directory anyway as they join us here in the next month or so. Lastly, the third Thursday of next month is September the 15th. So please put that on your calendar now. We'll be sending out invitations right after Labor Day for that event. That's going to be Export Computer Exchange is going to be our host next month. So until then, thank you very much for attending. Thank you again, Pam, for hosting. If at any point you guys need something from Terra membership directories, we provide those on a as needed requested basis. Please let us know. And we look forward to talking to you and hopefully seeing you next month at the eScrap conference. So take care, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.